Article 1. Articles with indefinite and definite nouns. 1.1. Definite nouns versus indefinite nouns. Definite nouns. A noun is definite, or specific and known, when both the speaker and the listener are familiar with and thinking about the same specific noun. When the noun is unique, for example, the sun. When it is the second mention. Indefinite nouns. An indefinite noun is a noun that has not specifically been identified, or general, or specific but new. 1.2. Summary of articles with indefinite and definite nouns. Count, singular noun, use the, with a definite noun. Example, the sun is a giant star. Use, a, or an, with an indefinite noun. Example, I read a book yesterday. Count, plural noun, use the, with a definite noun. Example, the books I read yesterday were good. No article, or use some, with an indefinite noun. Example, I like books. I ordered some new computers. Non-count noun. Use the, with a definite noun. Example, the reading I did in college was useful. No article, or use some, with an indefinite noun. Example, reading is useful. I ordered some equipment. 1.3. Descriptive information. A. Descriptive information, for example, preposition phrases, or descriptive clauses may or may not make a noun specific. Example of descriptive clauses. General, a manager who trains workers has a lot of responsibility. Specific, the manager who trained me got a promotion. Example of descriptive information. General, do you have a pen with red ink? Specific, the pen in my bag is leaking. B. In general, there is, and there are introduced new topics. Therefore, the following noun is usually indefinite. Examples, general, there is a piece of furniture. Specific, there is the piece you were looking for. C. Adjectives do not automatically make nouns specific. Examples, general, Tom liked fresh apples. Specific, the fresh apples I bought yesterday are on the table. D. Don't use articles with another determiner, such as possessive, my, our, your, his, her, its, their, or demonstrative, this, that, some, these, the. 2. Articles with generic nouns. Rule number 1. Generic noun represents a whole class of things and is used to make generalizations. An article that is used with generic nouns is similar to indefinite nouns, a, or an, for a singular count noun, no article for plural count nouns and non-count nouns. Example, singular count noun, an apple is red. Plural count noun, apples are red. Both mean any apple, apple in general. Non-count noun, fruit is good for us. Rule number 2. The is sometimes used with a singular generic noun, such as species of animals. Inventions. Musical instruments. Example, the blue whale is the largest mammal. Who invented the telephone? Do you play the guitar? Rule number 3. The is used with nouns that refer to groups of people, for example, the unemployed, the needy, means poor people, the weak, and the sick. Example, do the wealthy have a responsibility to help the poor? 3. Omitting the, in certain expressions. Rule number 1. The can be omitted with the followings. Schools, for studying, include class, high school, elementary school, kindergarten, college, university, junior high school, preschool, daycare. Others include church, as members, prison and jail, as prisoners, bed, for sleeping, at sea, as sailors, on stage, as actors. Example, I needed to get my pillow, so I went to the bed. I was tired, so I went to bed. I went to university in China. I majored in biology. Payam went to the university to meet with the principal. He was arrested and spent a night in jail. He went to the jail to interview his client. My nephew is 5 years old. He's in kindergarten. I'm a stay-at-home dad. My children aren't in daycare. She is quite religious. She goes to church every Sunday. Rule number 2. The cannot be omitted with office, to work, temple, to pray. Example, he had to work, so he went to the office. He went to the temple to pray. 4. Articles with proper nouns. Tip number 1, use the, if the proper noun is plural. No article, Canada, Vancouver Island, Lake Ontario, Mount Everest. Use the United States, the Netherlands, the Hawaiian Islands, the Great Lakes, the Rocky Mountains. Tip number 2, use the, if the proper noun contains the word of. No article, Simon Fraser University, Hudson Bay, Queen Elizabeth. Use the People's Republic of China, the University of British Columbia, the Bay of Fundy, the Queen of England. Tip number 3, memorize according to categories, title names. No article, Mr. Joe, Dr. Sarah, President Leo. Names of continents, no article, Asia, Africa, North American, South America, Antarctica, Europe, and Australia. Name of regions, no article, Southeast Asia, Northern Canada. Use the Middle East, the Arctic, the North. Name of countries, no article with name of most countries, Canada, Vietnam, Singapore, Great Britain. But use the with, the United States, the Russian Federation, the United Kingdom. Administrative areas, no article with provinces, for example, Alberta, states, for example, California, cities, for example, Vancouver, Tokyo, streets, for example, Granville Street. Bodies of water, no article with lakes, for example, Alice Lake, creeks, means a narrow area of water that flows into the land, for example, Hat Creek. But use the with oceans, for example, the Atlantic, the Pacific, the Indian, the Arctic, seas, for example, the Japan Sea, rivers, for example, the Fraser River, and canals, for example, the Panama Canal. Geographical features, no article, mountains, for example, Whistler. Use the with mountain ranges, for example, the Rocky Mountains, the Alps in Europe, canyons, mean steep narrow valleys, for example, the Grand Canyon. No article with islands, for example, Gambier Island. But use the with coasts, for example, the Sunshine Coast, reefs, means the line rock under the sea, for example, the Great Barrier Reef. No article with individual islands, for example, Vancouver Island. But use the with groups of islands, for example, the Hawaiian Islands. No article with waterfalls, for example, Niagara Falls. But use the with deserts, for example, the Gobi Desert, forests, for example, the Black Forest. Field of study. No article with name of the subject, for example, financial management. But use the with specific courses, for example, the financial management program. Name of organization, no article with most of universities, for example, Simon Fraser University, colleges, for example, Douglas College. But use the with the British Columbia Institute of Technology, the Royal Bank. Structures, no article with stadiums, for example, BC Place Stadium, hospitals, for example, St. Paul's Hospital. But use the with most names of buildings, for example, the Great Pyramid, the Great Wall, the Tokyo Tower, the Hoover Dam, the Empire State Building, the Vancouver Art Gallery, hotels, for example, the Hilton, theaters, for example, the Palace Theatre, bridges, for example, the Port Mann Bridge. Celestial bodies, planets, no article, Mars, Venus, Jupiter, Mercury, Saturn. But use the Sun, the Moon. Newspaper versus magazines, no article with magazines, for example, Newsweek magazine. But use the with newspaper, for example, the Vancouver Sun. Abbreviated names, no article, BCIT, BC, UBC. Use the UAE, the PRC, the US.